Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're reading When He Sees You Cry by Zombie Lover 8469. So let's get into it. Tsukishima. Kei sat in a classroom across from yours. He would peek to see you staring up at the board or down at your desk with a smile. He wouldn't stare, but this time he did. Your hair covered your face as you held up your head. He gave narrowed eyes and lifted up his head, seeing you excuse yourself. His eyes then slightly widened once he caught a glimpse of your face when you left the room. You were crying. He gave a nod to his teacher and left the classroom. As you walked down the hall, you heard someone on speed walking behind you. Dark face. You turned around with a small gasp, seeing him approach you with eyes that were narrowed, but not as much. You gave a sniffle, then a fake smile. He huffed and wiped your tear with the back of his hand that brushed softly against your cheek. Don't cry. I've grown fond of the loud, happy you. He pulled your head to his chest and gave you a peck on the forehead before walking away. You blushed, seeing him going back into the classroom. You then smiled and pressed your fingers to the spot you guessed, looking down shyly. Kenma. You were in your room, putting some of your video games in a box. You were snipping due to an event that happened before that. You still had teary eyes, and you tried to stop yourself from crying before Kenma came over. He locked into your room but stopped at the doorway to see you on your knees, wiping your face. You heard him sit by you, from his pants hitting each other. Going through your games, you sniffled and gave a nod. He gave a nod as well, then placed a hand on yours, making you look at him and giving you a small smile. You blushed and looked down. He then kissed your hand and caressed that. You laid your head on his shoulder, and he tensed. Then he relaxed, rubbing your back. Don't cry, kitten. I'm here. Kuroo. You were having a bad day at school. Your school bag wept, you lost your jacket and homework, and tripped in the halls. You went straight to your room, and you texted him, and then sat on your bed with your pillow to your face. Why on? He knocked on the front door of your house. When you opened the door with tears streaming down your face, his eyes widened before you hugged him. Baby girl, what's wrong? Just having a bad day. That's all. He gave a small smirk and hugged you tightly as you did the same. He then lifted up your chin and wiped a tear from your cheek. It'll be okay. He gave you a peck and ruffled your hair, making you sniffle with narrowed eyes. Kuroo. He chuckled and continued before he slapped his hand with a small smile for him to pull you back into a hug. There's that smile. Oikawa. I'm here. Oikawa gave a small sigh and smirk after he knocked on your front door for the third time. He then opened up the door and stepped inside, taking off his shoes and walking around. Cutie? He stepped inside your room, only for you to come out to the bathroom, with sniffles and tears streaming down your cheeks. Oikawa? He gave you a confused look, then walked over to you, lifting up your chin with an eyebrow raised, and a slightly serious expression. What's wrong? You gave a shake of your head, then removed yourself from him. He gave narrowed eyes and stepped in front of you. Ryan? You sniffed again, and tears filled your eyes. His lips parted. Then he gave a smile and pulled you into his chest, hugging you with both arms. Don't be sad, please. Don't cry either. He then started to make kissing sounds. When he picked your forehead, you smiled, and when you did, he pulled you into his lap and hugged you tightly. Be okay. You laughed. You couldn't help it. He then kissed your shoulder repeatedly. You just smiled and gave a sigh. Oikawa. What is it? He pressed his forehead to yours, wiping a tear from your cheek with a small smile. I love you. I love you too. Hinata. Earlier, you had got into an argument with a parent of yours. It was over your decision of choosing to spend a week in Tokyo with the volleyball team. You had to. You're a manager in training, and you didn't want to miss the opportunity of doing something like this. When you were upset, you texted Shoyo to come by. You wanted to go somewhere, and he suggested the park. When Shoyo arrived, the smile on his face was as big as ever, until he saw you come outside, with tears in your eyes. Before he could ask if you're alright, you stepped on the back pegs of his bike and hugged him tightly, and Shoyo took it as a sign to comfort you now and ask questions later. Once the two of you arrived at the park, you stepped off his bike and sat on the beach nearby. He trained up his bike, then headed towards you shyly. He was concerned, but he didn't want to make you upset by bothering you. Before Shoyo sat down, you quickly stood up and hugged him tightly. You wiped your tears on his shoulder as he held you close and gently rubbed your back. I'm okay, really, you whispered. I got into it with my mom, and I just needed your comfort. He smiled as he sat down on the bench beside you again. I'm always here for you, Ayan. I mean it. You nodded into his shirt, smiling as you hugged him tightly. I know you do. Thank you. Because I don't know where I'd be without you. You'll never have to, Ayan. Because I'll always be there for you, no matter what.